And welcome back to Linux. This is the episode 2 of your future favorite podcast. First of all, small announcements, stick to the end, and I have something exciting to share, so stick around for a bit. First of all, as a continuation to my first video, I have had some problems with the multimedia codecs. I wouldn't call them problems exactly, but from the normal user perspective, they actually were problems. I was recording this same kind of video with OBS the first time, and I couldn't play my video with anything out of the box, and a friend from Twitter linked me to a Fedora article explaining how to install all the codecs from the command line. And although it's really not a big deal, this is one of the things that I think could be offered during the install process, like Ubuntu does it. I don't know, call me whatever you want, maybe, people like open source, everything, nothing proprietary. But, if you want to get people on Linux, you need to give them a way to watch videos, especially the ones they recorded themselves. So I don't know what else to add. I'll link the instructions below my videos so you can check it out. It's a fairly easy and straightforward process, but you need to get your hands a little bit dirty with the command line. No big deal. Also, I've tuned my microphone a little bit from the last time. I realized it was too quiet the last time, and I'm pretty sure that this time is going to be a bit better, louder at least. So, I promised myself that I'm going to use Amiga emulator this week, but I kind of failed on that. I have had some other ideas I wanted to touch on. So, first things first, Elder Scrolls Online. This is a game that I play occasionally, and I wanted to see how it behaves on Linux. So, first impressions, the install process. There's a tiny install screen that says something. I don't remember what, because it was all black, and I couldn't find the button that needs to be pressed. It does work correctly under Windows, but under Linux, it took a little bit of digging on the internet. What is it that I'm supposed to do to get it to get past that little window? And ProtonDB said just press enter and it will aim for the OK button that's hidden somewhere under that black screen. So let's say that's an easy part. Tray icons. So this game requires a Gnome extension called tray icons that I had to install. It doesn't really require them. It just pops up a tray icon in a little bit of a window that you can move around your desktop, and it looks really stupid. So yeah, you will want to install tray icons add-on on your Gnome for this game, and basically for Steam as well. I didn't really notice it for the first time, but Steam also has a tray icon that's useful when you minimize it, so you can get it back up on your screen. The game actually works perfectly after I got through the install process. There is only one thing that was missing that the Windows version of this game has, and that's DLAA. That's deep learning anti-aliasing from Nvidia, and I'm pretty sure that the game didn't detect these in the driver that I have installed on my Fedora. So I will look into it a bit later, but I think it's something that Nvidia hasn't implemented on Linux drivers just yet. Maybe they did, but obviously the game doesn't recognize it, so I use normal anti-aliasing, which is fine in this game, but also you all guys know what anti-aliasing does, so the way it's implemented in Elder Scrolls Online isn't exactly perfect. there's room for improvement, and this room is pretty much filled with deep learning anti-aliasing offered by Nvidia drivers under Windows. It looks super perfect. I love it, and I want it back. Honestly, I want this implemented under Linux as well. So yeah, so next topic. Yeah, I was quite I was quite good. My impressions on Fedora for the first 10 or so days were good. I'm starting to get my grips on it, and I was a little bit inspired to get it on my work laptop as well. And actually, I was just thinking about putting Linux on my work laptop as well. But since I want to learn about Fedora as much as I can, I was thinking, why not just put it on my why not just put the same distro on my laptop as well, so I get double the experience, right? And while I was thinking about it, I had this discussion with a friend who told me, why don't you put Red Hat on your laptop, right? You want rock solid, stable experience. And I was like, I mean, Red Hat, really? How unstable Fedora really is. I have never heard of anyone ever complaining about Linux crashing, right? Maybe it does at some weird scenarios, but it's not like people are putting Linux on their computers because Windows is not crashing, right? They want stability. So most, if not all, Linux distributions work just fine regarding out-of-the-box stability performance. And yeah, I was a bit reluctant, so I asked some other people. And basically, all of you guys tried to talk me out of installing Red Hat on my computer. But honestly, none of you had any particularly good arguments against it. One of you said you will not be able to play games on it. I was like, okay, I didn't even considering playing games on my work laptop, so I guess that's fine. I'm still not convinced that you cannot play games on Red Hat, because basically it's a little bit older Fedora. I think it's from version 34 or maybe 33. I'm talking about Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9 that's coming out in probably a few months from now. Yeah, I did go ahead with install, and these are my first impressions about Red Hat on a laptop. Setup. Everything was clean during install except the partitioning part. Partitioning part is the exact same as on Fedora, and it sucks. Yes, I can read the manual. Yes, I can find a way to understand it, but it's not really intuitive. First, what I did was go to my Windows and resize my Windows partition to somewhere halfway down on my SSD. So I got something like 200 gigabytes of free part of my SSD where the Linux was going to land on. And then I went to Red Hat installer, and I wanted to do a manual partitioning because I was trying to make sure that my Windows partition does not get deleted by accident. And honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. In terms of basically, I'm used to on other Linux distributions, you get free space. Here you click on the free space, you click create new partition. On this free space, it asks you which kind of partition do you want, where are you going to mount it, what is the mount point, right? And when you're finished with it, you press next and go ahead. But it's so weird that it doesn't even give you an impression that you're creating a partition on a free space. So basically, I just went ahead and falled back to automatic mode. And then when I saw what it did, I kind of figured it out, but it really isn't intuitive. I think it needs a facelift. Also, why do Fedora and Red Hat have the next button on the top left corner instead of bottom right is beyond me, but I can live with that. Yeah, so when the installer was finished, dual boot was actually correctly applied, group loaded. It offered me to boot up Windows and Linux. Both of these options worked out of the box, so I cannot complain about it. It did what it was supposed to do about the dual boot, right? Yeah, so one of the things that I noticed during the install process was that laptop usage was offered to me, which I have selected, of course. I don't know what it does exactly, but just the fact that Red Hat Enterprise Linux is aware of possibly being installed on a laptop makes me feel that they had put some thought into it, you know, when making it. So that's quite good. Because I will try to actually use it in my as my daily driver on this laptop. Battery life. I cannot tell you exactly how much does it, you know, how good it is, because I only tested it for a short while, but it appears to be somewhere around the same as Windows, but I will report that in a week or two when I get a better idea about my normal workflow and what I do during the day, and you know, normal laptop stuff, right? One of the things that worked better than in Fedora, better under quotation marks, or can I say it like that, was Exchange support. So Evolution was pre-installed, and yeah, it had Exchange plugin pre-installed as well. I didn't need to do absolutely anything about that. It just worked. And I must say that in my 10 or so days with using the Exchange client, I am actually quite happy with it. It basically does what it's supposed to be doing, and yeah, that's good. That's good, because I was before I dived into Linux, I was asking questions around about how will I get Exchange working, and some of the people have recommended Evolution to me, which honestly I thought was a dead project, but when I looked it up on Wiki, it did have some troubled past before, but actually it's quite alive at this moment, and yeah, it works. Sleep and resume works correctly. And the Red Hat out of the box, you can just, you know, hang up the lid, it will go to sleep, you can open it back up, it will wake up. One thing that it does not do by default is what I'm used to in Windows, and that is hibernate after a few hours of sleep. So basically what Windows does is when you hang up the lid, it goes to sleep, so you can wake it up really fast. But if you forget about it for a few hours, I think by default it's 4, the laptop will wake up in your backpack or wherever it is. It will wake up and then it will go to hibernate. So it will stop wasting your battery if you have forgotten about it. I have digged a little bit around about this topic also on Jason's Discord, you know, Linux for Everyone Discord, and some guy told me that there is a solution for that, but I haven't had enough time to set it up yet. So that's one of the things I'm going to try to make work for me on Red Hat. Fingerprint did not work out of the box, although Red Hat does support fingerprint login. but it appears that my fingerprint module is completely unsupported by Linux kernel. It doesn't matter which distribution, so I don't believe that I'm going to make it work. Overall opinion, so I think it will be good. I don't know if I can say it any shorter than this. What I said in the beginning of the video is that people tried to talk me out of it. I don't understand why, because it really feels like Fedora. But nobody in Linux community seems to be covering Red Hat at all. So this is something that I'm going to try to be doing for a while, and I will report back on, you know, if I stuck with it or did I switch back to Fedora or something else on my laptop. Yeah, so now for the exciting part that I announced in the beginning. Last year when Valve announced Steam Deck, I was staying up late and you know, clicking the refresh button to try to reserve mine, and I was put in Q1 of this year initially, which got pushed back to Q2. And to make long story short, I have purchased it 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I don't know when will it arrive, but it's definitely on its way. So if you have any wishes in advance that you would like me to cover with Steam Deck, I will give you, you know, my unboxing experience, my honest first impressions, and how am I going to use it after I get it in my hands and see where it fits in my life, right? I do travel. I have a little place where my family goes for a vacation, so I don't have. I usually don't take any gaming equipment with me because all my gaming equipment is basically hardwired to my monitor, TV, or whatever. So my laptop isn't capable of gaming, at least nothing serious, because it's just integrated Intel graphics, right? I think Steam Deck will fit nicely on my vacation trips, but anything beyond that, I will report as I go. So if you have any wishes that I could cover that maybe other Linux content creators didn't touch upon, do let me know in the comments. I will be glad to read all of them. Yeah, I think that would be a wrap. So please click these you know, these buttons below, like, subscribe, maybe leave a couple of comments, even if nothing got your attention in this video but you would like me to touch upon in my next videos. And take care and see you in the next one.